You have it in your hands right now. You just haven't used it enough to see the results that you're requiring, whether you accept the fact that that's what you're waiting for or not. Chances are you want to see yourself do something one time where it's rule-based. You felt comfortable doing it. It did exactly what you thought it was going to do. And if you have that moment, even if it's in a demo account, if you could just get that one event where I didn't tell you, no one else inspired you to do it, you found it all by yourself, that will be a fact that you'll hold on to. And that would be just enough for you to pursue and keep moving forward. Others may require that same thing, but with a live account. And that's why you foolishly sometimes try to do it with real money, or you rush to try to get a combine with it. And then try to do the same logic once you get funded. Should you get funded and you either blow it or cause so much damage that it's pointless to consider going forward with it. My son Cameron, as I mentioned, and you've probably already seen, Top Step was very forthcoming with sharing, what he was able to do. And he's received 2 payouts. He passed 3 of his express, I don't know the exact terms for it, but I think it's express funded account. That is the thing that you get apparently after you pass the challenge or combine, or I don't know if they call it combine, but it's the part where if you win in the trade, you don't have the ability to take the money out. And then when you get into the express, my understanding is you're still not trading with real money, but if you ask for payouts, they will pay out based on what you supposedly made. And again, eventually, if they like you as a trader and you exhibit the things that they want to see, they will fund you. And I just saw 2 of my students literally were tapped on the shoulder by Top Step, and now they're funded traders. So not, from my understanding, I'm not sure if this is accurate. So if I'm not accurate, please forgive me and correct me in response on Twitter. But when they say they're funding them, then now they're in a live account where they're actually trading with real money. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. But it's the tier above express funded, or what would be considered classically funded, what everybody tries to get to, basically. If you look at the statistics, I'm not sure if Michael Patak or Top Step has made it public what the statistics are in terms of the rate of success for people that try to get funded and get payouts. But if you look at the numbers that some of the other Forex funded account companies, they have been very forthcoming, which I have a great deal of respect for, because they're telling you openly, like, you have next to zero chance of doing this unless you know what you're doing. You're probably going to fail. And when people see those statistics, and I got to be real careful how I say these things, because I don't want to sound like I'm pissing all over them, and I don't want to sound like I'm propping any of them up or representing them. Okay. What my son did was in and of itself, he made the decision to do that. I didn't inspire him to pick any one particular company. He picked Top Step because he saw the ads on YouTube. So that's the one. Like anything else, when you think of something, when you think of a plumbing problem, what do you think of in the United States? Roto-Rooter. Okay, it's the shit, right? Well, I don't use Roto-Rooter, by the way. That's really probably not a good example. But when you think of something, whatever's been advertised and put in front of you, because of what I talked about in the live stream, it's priming. Okay, and advertising, the people that put the most money and capital behind their advertising, they're the one that's going to get, the squeaky wheel gets the oil. Well, Cameron chose Top Step, not because I said pick this one, because I never would have picked any of them. I wasn't of the opinion that I wouldn't want my son going that route. I was ready to give him money, and he was saying, I don't want to do it that way, Dad. I want to be able to say, I did it. Well, he did it. But his initial soiree with it, where I think he failed, I think he told me 7 times he tried to pass it and failed. But he was doing everything wrong that you could possibly do. Over leveraging, trying to trade the maximum, no idea what he was doing. Okay. And then we spent about a month of sitting down with, these are the rules. These are the rules, okay? You don't have discipline, but the only way you can forge that discipline is by using these fucking rules, okay? What rules are they? You have to know where you're aiming for, because if you aim at nothing, you'll hit it every time. And for some of you, that went right over your head. But you have to have a target. You have to have a target in mind where you're aiming for with price. What is it reaching for? If you can't ascertain that by looking at a chart, you have absolutely no business pushing a button where you incur risk, even if it's demo, because the outcome is going to be detrimental to your development, because you're going to be feeding yourself toxic results that were rooted on no real rhyme or reason or model, but you're going to take it as a kick in the ass. You're going to take it as failure. You're not getting what you want, a dopamine hit. So you're treating it like an ex-girlfriend or an ex-boyfriend that were toxic and they just keep calling you and you don't want nothing to do with them. That's eventually what you'll treat business with, relationships. That way you'll have that same thing towards the markets and trading, which is the reason why I talk to you this way. I use analogies so that way you can draw parallels to something that, oh, I understand what that feels like. I don't want that to feel like that when I'm trading. Don't do the shit you're doing. Do the things I'm telling you to do and avoid the things I tell you to avoid. But here's my son. He's going to go out there and show me it's just like video games, and he's going to be, Mr. I am having a senior moment. I can't remember that. Fortnite. Yeah, he's really, really good at Fortnite, and he's really, really good at Call of Duty. Like, he's fucking badass. Like, he's kicks my ass. He's really, really good, and it's amazing. He thought that was going to be the same thing for him when he got into this. He has that tenacious, like, I'm going to do it, Dad. And if it's hard, I'm going to be that much more inspired to do it. But then when he got his ass beat trying to do the combines and failed the 7 times or so that he did it, I watched him. He was sulking. He's just like, you could see it in his face. He wasn't walking around with his shoulders back like he always was. He's, the typical 18-year-old boy, right? That knows everything. And I told him, I said, look, here's the rules. You have to aim for an hourly or a 15-minute high. Which one's you going to reach for? The obvious one that it's trying to get to. That's all you need. That's all you need, man. That's all you need. And then when you know that, you drop down to a 1 or 5 minute chart and you wait for a 1 or 5 minute stop hunt that's against that draw on liquidity. So if you're thinking it's going to go up, you wait for a swing low to be taken out on a 1 or 5 minute chart. As soon as it does that on that time frame, you have to wait for, if it's a swing low that it takes out, you have to wait for an up close candle to form immediately after that swing low is taken out. As soon as that happens, then immediately you drop down to a 30-second chart and you buy the first fair value gap. That's easy shit, man. That's easy. There's simple parameters to that. It's based on the market's going to gravitate to that higher time frame draw. You just had a stop hunt on a lower time frame. So there should be what? A displacement going towards the next opposing liquidity that's higher time frame than the one you're entering on, which is 30 seconds, right? Let's drop my laptop here. Hold on 1 second. I only have one laptop, by the way. These fucking people talking about I got all these laptops. I got one. All right, so the model had rules. You have to do this, do this, do this, and once you have it, whatever your winning trade is, whatever it is, you eat it, you take it home, and that's what it is. Do not re-enter. Well, what is he lacking? Discipline. How does he forge it? Doing it. Doing it and then not doing it and failing and getting the repercussions of it. Okay, that's progress. What happens if he takes a losing trade? He stops. But what if he sees another setup? He can't take it. What does he lack? Discipline. So when he tries to do a second trade and he makes money on it, what does he hear from me? Why are you doing that? But Dad, look at what I mean. Why did you not listen? The whole point of this is for you to forge what? Discipline, following a model, because that will yield you the results. You coloring outside the lines is not you following the rules. The wins that you make outside of your model are not to be celebrated. That's you cheating on your wife and getting away with it. That doesn't mean keep doing it, or it's good because her feelings didn't get hurt, or vice versa. I'm giving you an extreme that maybe it doesn't fit you in a sense of an analogy, but in my mind, you are cheating on the model. You're not giving it time, energy, focus that it requires, that it deserves. I took the time to sit down and write this model up, gave him the rule-based ideas that he has to follow. Any deviations outside of that, if it's a win, I don't give a fuck about that win. That doesn't matter. That is a losing trade to me. It doesn't mean shit to me. How can you measure that? That's not part of the equation here. It's outside of the logic. So you can't champion it. You can't give it its props and say, yeah, look at this. Who gives a shit about that? And that's what some of you might be doing in your early stages of your progress. You're doing things outside of a model. And when you win, it's gain, it's profit. I feel good. Yeah, woo, this is what I want to do. And to make it feel better, because even though I know I feel a little guilty about it because I didn't really know what the hell I was doing and it worked for me, I'm going to share it on social media. Because if I get some likes, that dopamine hit will overcompensate for the fucking things I'm feeling that are rooted in guilt and reality, that it wasn't really rooted on any logic or model. It just happened to work out that time. So the facts are, my son beat the statistics. He went out there and not only did he get on the other side of those 7 losing attempts to try to get a funded account, he went out there and got 3 of them all at one time. He used all 3 of them at the same time and then passed them all. Then told me, he said, I want to use one of them and just try to see if I can do what you're saying. Ultimately, he showed progress. He had days where he did what he was supposed to do, but didn't do it all the time. And eventually it caught up with him. And on Friday, he burned the last $800. And his logic was, I don't care, because I'm going to start a new one. And I didn't do what I was supposed to do with this one. So I got 2 payouts. I took something from it, an experience, and I got paid. So I look at it as it's a win-win for me, Dad. And I'm like, well, I guess that's a good way of looking at it. But if you don't take what you learned from this one, it's going to repeat itself in the second one and the third one. And then if you blow them, guess what you have to do? You have to start a new one or do something else. So what's your plan? Because I want to trade with one micro contract like you were telling me to do in the beginning. I wish I would have listened to that, but another way, I like the fact that I did what I did because I made $1,540. I got 2 payouts and I did it all in 1 month. And for me, it feels great. And I'm like, I'm proud of you. In that regard, I'm proud. I'm proud that you now are inspired to do it. So the facts are, he has now been bitten legitimately. He'll never not trade now. He'll never not want to do this. And that's what I want. I want all my kids to have that. Now, is $1,540 a lot of money? Fuck no, it's not a lot of money. Literally, it's not. I spent more than that at Target last night buying shit that my wife doesn't need. So the point is, the $1,540 is literally nothing. But from my perspective as his dad, I see him doing something that I want all my kids to do. What I've spent my entire life in pursuit and perfecting, he did it. He canceled all the bullshit that people say that this stuff doesn't work. That you have to have an overcomplicated approach that doesn't have any statistical probability, and you lose money trading on ICT smart money concepts. My 18-year-old son went out there and literally on his own effort did everything. His own money from his coffee shop job went down to negative balance, paying for him in between his paychecks. I did not give him any money. I would not pay him for it. And Michael from Top Step, if you would listen, it's not a knock against you. It would have been any other company. I would not give him money to do that. I would love for him to prove for at least 6 months that he's consistently profitable using a demo account. I would have put $50,000 in an account. Real money. I would have done it. No problem. Not even batting an eye, worrying about it. That's the route I was going to go. that he had to prove to me. But he wants to go out there and do prove it to the world type shit. Vigilante mentor son. Okay. I mean, he's got it in his head. He wants to do that kind of stuff, which is, I guess, if that's what you need for motivation, whatever. But now he's motivated by something else. So the facts are, he doesn't want to worry about what other people think anymore. He wants to get better at what he's doing. He goes, now that I know I can do this and I can see where I messed up, in the days that I went back in when I had already made money, like, for instance, he had 13 days. 13 days of consistently winning. He had it up $180 that day. He said, I just wanted to get it to 200. That's all I wanted to do, is just to bump it to 200. $20, Dad. I was like, I'm not laughing at you, son, to make fun of you, but I can't tell you how many times over my career when I was trying to just get to that target for the day, and then Murphy's Law comes in. Whatever can happen wrong, it will. Okay, that's exactly what happens. And that small, little, tiny $20 target turns you into a losing day. And if you're weak, if you're not disciplined, that losing trade and that losing day turns into a blown account. And that's exactly what he did. He went to a max loss day, over $20. Son, that is not failure. That's what everybody goes through. That's part of it. That's a growing pain. Every trader, every single fucking trader, male, woman, child, whatever, is human. They're going to do things that they know they're not supposed to do. Okay. As a trader, we know we shouldn't push the envelope, and we know, and he knew at the same time, because he admitted it. He goes, I knew it's not a big deal, but I just wanted to get there. I wanted to get that $200 mark, because every day he was striving to get $200 or more, and he was doing it day after day after day after day. But I told him, and I even tweeted 2 days before he did this, this is the time when you stop. You stop, sit still, let the advancement experience, the progress, the money that you've earned, let it find its way in you and relish it. Just really enjoy the fact that you did it. Let there be time between you hitting that $3,000 mark that was your goal. That's great.